Leanne. Morning, Leanne. Do you want me to share the papers?
Hello, good morning. Oh, you're a bit quiet, Debbie. Quieter than everybody else.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah.
Move your mic up a bit. Is it pointing down? Maybe that will make it louder.
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can hear
That's
you,
better.
but you were a bit quiet, but that's okay. Okay, Coke. We might as well just get started, I think. Okay, Coke. Yeah, we'll just get started. So I think, morning, Louise.
Morning.
Yeah, so just apologies from Gillian. She's not very well, so she's not in this week. So you've got me chairing instead. Hopefully you've all had the papers and had a chance to have a quick look through them. Debbie, are you able to share?
Yeah, I will do.
If not, I can do it, don't worry. Lovely, thank you. I think everybody's met each other before, but if you want to just do a quick round of introductions, we can do that. So I'm Leanne, the Learning and Development Coordinator for the partnership and the Vice Chair for this group now. So I'll be chairing today with Gillian's absence. Who's next? Who's high on my screen? Let's have a look. Kate.
Hi, Kate Cronin, Community Engagement. I've forgotten what title is. Community Engagement Safeguarding Officer for the partnership. Sorry.
Good start. Good start. Jenny.
Jenny Tarrant. I look after the Sandwell Learn e-learning for Sandwell Children's Trust and partners.
Thank you. Lisa.
Lisa Harvey, MASH Education Safeguarding Manager and Chair of the L&D subgroup.
Thank you. Lucy.
Hiya, I'm Lucy. I'm the Practice and Quality Review Officer for the Safeguarding Partnership.
Thank you. Shmeez.
Hi, I'm Shamiz Badger. I'm one of the designated safeguarding leads at Gospel Oak School.
Thank you. Louise.
Morning, everybody. Louise Harris, Senior Learning Development Officer for the Trust.
Fab. And Debbie.
Debbie Service, Business Support Officer for the partner.
You are very quiet, Debbie.
Am I?
Like a little mouse today. Okay, Coke. We'll go through then. So, Debbie, can you just pop the minutes up from the last meeting, please? So last meeting was a small meeting, as is this one. I'm hoping that the more we go, the more we'll kind of get people coming back to these meetings, because I do think they're important for us to touch base. So if you can just go through them and just make sure that everybody agrees with them, that'd be lovely. Let's see, page 2. And page 3. Thank you. Okay. Lovely. Everybody happy with them?
Yep.
Yep. Fab. I think the only action that I picked out there was to plan some dates in, which has been done. So we have now got dates in, and we agreed quarterly for these meetings for the next few quarters. So thank you to Debbie for putting those in and sending those out for us. So the next thing was the terms of reference and vice chair. So I'm currently acting as vice chair while we kind of figure it all out a little bit. And the terms of reference have been shared with the learning and development subgroup, who are happy with us to continue with them for this for the training pool, and also been shared with everybody's part of the training pool. I've not received anything back that says that people aren't happy with them. So if people are happy with any amendments that have been made, then we'll just kind of get these signed off and move forward with these. Speak now or forever hold it if anybody has got anything they wanted to comment on.
Just a quickie. I
Yeah.
think from the minutes, which
Yeah.
wasn't put down as an action, and this, we was talking about an escalation process if people are not, are down as trainers and then letting us down last minute or dropping out of the training pool because we put investment and everything into
Yeah.
them. So whether that's a flow chart or, I do think we need to put something together, either bring it back to this group, L&D, but there does need to be some sort of escalation protocol. I know we talked in the L&D meeting because I think, so for example, you'll email, you'll put the dates out, you'll say, what date can you do training? I'll say, I'll do this date and this date.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it in my calendar and hopefully I stick to that. But we was talking about copying managers in, so managers are aware of the commitment.
Yeah.
Because my manager wouldn't have a clue when I'm delivering unless he looked in my calendar. So I think that's something to be said for, when we do it, to copy managers in so that they are aware, and whether
Okay.
there's any challenges to this if we do that.
Okay, lovely. Debbie, if you can scroll down on this one for me. I think I did put something in around escalation. So we can just, it's there. So that I put that in there, stage 1, 2, and 3 escalation. Did you want that in a more pictorial?
No, I mean, I'm not. I think maybe a pictorial one that goes out to all our training pool members, so they're very, very clear. Because the best will in the world, you see a terms of reference, you might not look at that again for a while. But I do think, like I say, part of, when we're organising our schedule and who's delivering on what training, we need to be copying managers in so they are aware of that.
So that's something that we're going to
commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, it could shoot us in the foot because I know I commit to a lot more and I know a lot of people do than perhaps my manager thinks I commit to, and then it could be we get reined in. So I suppose I'm just opening the floor to people's thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's one of those that could go either way, isn't it? I think on the one hand, we've then got the managers' accountability in terms of agreement to release them for that date. It should or could hopefully avoid that kind of last minute cancellation where people are saying they've got too much work on. On the flip side, I know that when I was in a different role and training, I definitely delivered more than my manager would have liked me to, but got away with it because she maybe wasn't aware of the expense. So we can try it and see what happens. If it's helpful, if it's not helpful, then we can kind of rediscuss it and see what people think about it. Okay, Coke and pictorial.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask about a bit on page 3, not like as in to take out, it's just a bit further down, Debbie, where it says members will on page 3, and it's about, I think there's 2 days, it says about doing like, there it is, stop there, see that first bullet point, 2 days per year for ongoing professional development and quality assurance. Is that like quality, like going to other training to quality assure it, or like devising new training? I just wondered what that was. What's the quality assurance bit?
So it's attending these meetings, so where we have those conversations around kind of moving things forward, or anything that's happened that's going well, anything that's not going so well, etc. will form part of those 2 days, and also then the supporting of development of new materials or reviewing materials based on kind of that evaluation process that we're tweaking at the moment. So it will be supporting that, translating the evaluations to kind of moving things forward, because I think it's really important that trainers are comfortable with what they're being asked to train. So rather than us just developing it in the background, actually we need input and support from trainers as well.
Yeah, that makes
that make
sense. I just
sense?
wanted to check because I read it as well and thought, is there anything for QPPA? So I just thought I'd just check that I
Yeah.
understood. Thank
No
you.
worries, no worries. Jenny, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, just a little bit of clarification on the same point, actually. I don't know. Is it like where you say 4 days a year? Is that a calendar year, academic year, financial year? You know, there's a lot of years to choose from. And I mean, that might just be being a bit pernickety. As long as you do 4 days over some period of time, it doesn't matter. I just wondered, you know, what the thought was behind that.
Our training planner goes April to March, so financial year. But I do recognise that because we have a lot of education attendance to our training, we almost kind of run through the educational year, the school year, because we don't necessarily have training on in August because education on around, and lots of our trainers are on leave, for example, and December as well because of the craziness of Christmas. So the training planning is financial year, but we do tend to kind of miss out key points around school holiday times. Does that help? I can put that in as well, no problem.
Yeah, that'd be useful, thanks. Because so there's so many different years you could pin it to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might get a bit confusing. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah, I'll add that in and change that. Lovely. Anything else on that one? No, we're all happy with that. Lovely. Let's move on from there then. So our next item is the tutor briefing. Have you got the tutor briefing there? Lovely. So hopefully you've all received this and all had a chance to have a look through it. Again, it was just about any questions, concerns, queries, and anything that kind of, if people think it's useful to have anything else in there that they think that has been missed that you want to talk about today.
Can I just say, I think it's really easy to read. So I think it's, you know, for us, you can almost do a little bit of a skim read initially and get that. So I think it's really clear and easy to read. And I suppose the other thing is just if there's anything that needs to go onto the tutor briefing that comes from trainers, just making sure that we recognise that it can be.
Yeah. Of course, it's collaborative, yeah.
Yeah, well, coming in the other way, so there may be something on that tutor briefing where we're coming across similar themes, I suppose, with our training. You know, so at one time the theme would have been people asking to go back face to face. So anything, you know, like that where we can say we are aware of it and it's being dealt with by the L&D group or, you know.
Yeah, of course. Okay. And Kate, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I find them really useful. I think they're really good. And as it says, it's briefing, so it's something that's really easy to just flick through, but get really useful information. So, like I think at the bottom of this one, there was something about having numbers on the register to split people up. And I think that was that's going to be really useful because at my last training session that I did, GCP2, I found that people really clustered together in their agencies. So that will be really useful. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I think that's something that's been around for a while and some people use it and some people don't. So I just thought I'd make it clear that that's the purpose behind it. So yeah, it's useful to have it. Lisa?
Sorry, I don't want to take over the meeting, but I think one of the challenges with that is, and I'll hold my hands up, when over at Conagry, I always do that numbers because I think breaking those agencies up, you know, has some real value in that multi-agency. However, now we're in room 3 a lot upstairs, and I'll be honest with you, I delivered whatever I delivered last time. Was it called Working Together? Yeah, called Working Together.
Last week, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and my back was really, because as you're probably aware, I suffer with osteoarthritis. My back was really, really bad. I could not move that room round. So they literally sat in it, how it was set up.
Right.
And then trying to do those numbered tables was nigh on
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
So I
of course,
suppose I
yeah.
know it's on the agenda about the rooms, but that's one of the challenges that I have, and certainly my back might be good first thing in the morning. By
Yeah.
the end of the day, I am really, really struggling, and then I suffer for 24 hours afterwards. So,
Yeah.
it's just to
Okay.
be aware, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Was there
Yeah, the
any other
Mets,
comments
so
or thoughts?
oh
Go on. Go on.
yeah, I'm
Kaz.
just gonna just tie in on what Lisa's just said. I think the MetSec is more difficult to have tables apart, isn't it? It's not as easy to
It can be. It depends what room you're in, and although the
Yeah.
room upstairs is bigger and you can move the tables about, it this time of year, well, it's not, so wouldn't be so bad today, but when it's sunny, it's a sweat box, which is part of the reason for moving it downstairs, because you can control the temperature downstairs, which makes it more comfortable room, but it is a smaller room that we're in. So yeah, I suppose it's room by room and thinking about
Yeah.
how.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're there if people can use them and want to use them, and that's the reason behind them. Obviously, if that's more difficult, then that's the trainer's decision on the day. Okay. Was there anything else on the tutor briefing that anybody wanted to discuss or raise? No. Okay, so as part of the partnership, I also do a newsletter from the partnership meetings, which Gillian feels would be really useful to go out to you guys as well. So I'm not sure if I sent April's apart from as part of this bundle, but this is April's newsletter, which just gives a brief overview of the discussions and conversations that are happening at that strategic level across the partnership. So again, trainers are aware of those conversations and decisions that are being made. So if we get questions, queries, we've got some of that information then to kind of back us up to answer those. Again, I'm hoping that people have had a chance to have a look through it. Any comments or questions, thoughts on this one that might impact us as a training pool?
I think it's just a good idea for it to go out, so you've got that. It just gives you a better overview of what's going on across the partnership, so you can pick out the bits that may be relevant or you may want to highlight to and one of the key things we're trying to do in the L&D group is increase communication from the partnership to our frontline practitioners. So I think it's a really good idea, and it's just remembering as trainers that we've got these as a resource, and that to use them if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. No other thoughts, questions? I can move on. No? Okay. So our next item was to look at delegate feedback. Myself and Lisa pulled together a report for partnership for 2022-2023 around looking at impact and who we're having attending training and what feedback we've got from that. So did I send anything for this, or do I need to? No. Okay, let me just find it and then I can share that with you all then. Just loading them. Okay. Lovely. I'm going to take over sharing. Okay. Can we see that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I think the first thing to note is that feedback isn't always being completed. Now, I know we withhold certificates until people have completed their initial kind of feedback after the training. So they log on, they complete their feedback, then we release their certificate to them. And that's still somewhere between 60 and 80%, depending on the course that's being delivered. So we're not getting 100% even on those. So either people don't want their certificates, they're not bothered, or we're not making it clear enough when we're delivering that this is what they need to do. So one of the things that I'm going to do on the back of that is just put a slide in to make it really clear into the training that we deliver, to make it really clear this is what people need to do at the end of the training to get their certificates. And then the expectation is that they will then complete further 2 evaluations. We are reviewing what those evaluations look like at the moment. So watch this space again once that's kind of got off the ground in terms of any tweaks and changes that will be shared with you guys as a training pool as well. But just wanted to share some of the feedback that we get. So from core working together, which I know most of us in this space have delivered on, we're actually getting really positive scores in terms of pre and post learning, and also the rating of that session in terms of how it's delivered and what people get out of it. So we've got 93.62% scoring it a 4 or a 5 out of 5 for the quality of the training. Now, 1's the lowest, 5's the highest, so that's really good. And then the learning gain, we've got 38.3% people saying they got all of that knowledge at 4 and 5 pre the session, but that then jumps to 95, just over 95% post session. That means that at least at that initial evaluation stage, people are taking something away from those sessions in terms of increased knowledge, skills and ability. So that's really positive. And we've got the same that's kind of running through. Sorry, that was thresholds. We've got the same then that's running through the different training where we've got those increases in the quality then that's been scored quite highly. So that's obviously down to you guys in terms of trainers. So a big thank you to everyone that's delivering on that. Without that quality of trainers, the quality of the training materials doesn't shine through, does it? So it's obvious that our trainers are delivering really, really well. So thank you very much for that. And like I said, that runs across all of our training. So it kind of gives us a bit of a glow to say we've been doing something right with the training materials and with our trainers. So thank you very much again for that, guys. We looked at our commission training as well, which is also scoring fairly highly, which again gives us that kind of knowledge that our commission training is also giving people something to take away in terms of knowledge and skills, and is also being delivered to a good standard as well. We did do a bit of a dip sample in terms of, let me just move through, in terms of the level 3 stage of the evaluation, where we're asking people what difference has your training made. So we did a bit of a dip sample of that, and again, just to kind of take some of the positive, we didn't get any negatives. There was a few people that said they hadn't been able to put things into practice from different training because they hadn't worked with anybody where they completed a GCP2, or they hadn't worked with anybody where there was exploitation concerns, etc. But on the whole, again, people that completed this stage of evaluation was really positive. So around the core working together, we've got increased confidence to discuss safeguarding procedures with colleagues, which is really positive, new routes and policy updates, and being able to offer advice and guidance to parents and carers about what help and support they can access, again, which is really positive. When we think about GCP2, we've got a more tailored approach. Is being taken to give the bigger picture, being more aware of being able to identify what's going on in a child's life and building those relationships. And if we look at thresholds as well, which again I know a lot of us have delivered on, it's prompted an early help referral rather than a MARF, so that's really positive. And it's made them realise that they could be a lead professional if it's appropriate for them to do so, because they know how to kind of do that moving forward then, again, which is another real positive for our families. We don't need lots of professionals involved if they don't need to be there. So if somebody that's already involved takes that role, then that's really positive for them. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know we're doing lots of changes to training at the moment, but just to share the positive stuff that's taken place over 22-23 while deliveries happened. Any thoughts or questions, comments, discussions that you want to have around that? Lisa, have you got your hand up, or is it a legacy? No, it's disappeared off my screen now. You're on mute as well now.
No, I haven't got my hand up now.
It was on my screen that you had and then it disappeared. But no, that's all really positive stuff. So again, big thank you to everybody. If we've got no comments or questions, then it's just a thank you for that kind of delivery of that really positive training. Okie coke. Moving on then to trainer concerns. Now, Lisa's already started us off a venue, so let's stick with that. So we've got concerns around, obviously, at the council house, we have to rearrange furniture as we want it rather than it being done for us. So that can be a concern. I know when I did it, I haven't got the same issues with my back, but I was a hot, sweaty mess then the entire time that I was delivering training. So yeah, there was definitely a thought around that. Are there any other concerns, worries that people have come across in terms of the fact that we're not using Conagry now and we are mostly using the council house? Lisa?
Yeah, sorry. I think
No?
yeah, I have. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is the challenge around passes.
Yeah.
So obviously you need passes to access certain parts of it. Some days the day you and I were both delivering training, it was just, sometimes they'll only give you one pass and then it's a real challenge. I think the other thing is, you and I, you was doing threshold and I was doing, I don't know, whatever it was. And it's going to get you delegates from downstairs if you're on your own. And yeah, so that is a real challenge in the council house. But, you know, the positives are, you're right by the toilets, you have got the breakout room, there is an opportunity on site to buy crisps, sandwiches. I know it's expensive, but, you know, it is there. But it is about, I think we perhaps need to think about the access, and do we get them to come to like the back door because it's easier to access to go than to walk all the way to reception. But then how do we know? I think we just need to have a think about access and passes and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, would it be useful just to kind of put out there, and then I'll come to you, Jenny, just on the point of kind of getting your delegates from up and downstairs and stuff. I know that Debbie supported the setting up and stuff of yours last week, didn't she? And what I've asked her to do moving forward for the next few is to make sure that I'm around, so we're not booking them when I'm on leave, etc. The next few that we're booking in, so that I can be there to support trainers then in that setting up and getting delegates up and that sort of thing. Is that something that's useful?
I think I mean, Debbie was absolutely brilliant. I had a bit of a mare, didn't I, last week, Debbie? I couldn't get on the internet, and yeah, it was just a whole mess. But then there's still somebody running up and down the stairs. I mean, and again, although if you're looking for fitness, I feel like I've lost 2 stone by the time I've run up and down those stairs. But yeah, somebody's still having to do that, and I think. Do we look at, because the easiest one if we're using the council house is the annexes?
Yeah, if they're free, yeah, absolutely.
But then you've not got such ease of access to the breakout room and
no, that's true.
Coffee machine, so it swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
I suppose, yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Jenny?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this comes up very often, but I know when you and I did the call working together, Leanne, there was definitely one, maybe 2 people who were like, "Oh, I've parked on Sainsbury's. Will I get a ticket?" Yeah. So I don't know what information goes out beforehand about parking. You know, it's like, just park on the council one, pay the money, and you know you're safe then, rather than, oh, I've got to nip out and move my car then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, at least at Conagry you had free parking, didn't you, on site? But yeah, as part of the reminder email that Debbie sends out, we do put something on there about the venue in terms of you've got access to water and drinks, but we don't provide refreshments or anything like that. And we also put on there about parking. We don't necessarily put a suggestion as to where to park. We just say there is parking facilities close. Some of these are chargeable.
Right.
So we kind of let people work out where they're going to park themselves, but we can add something on about the West Bromwich Street car park and the postcode for it.
And
Yeah.
maybe yeah, there is free parking, but then that's restricted to time,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I know it's a pain, and some people will probably ignore it anyway.
Yeah, probably.
It will help though, won't it? Because there's nothing worse than you then having a number of people having to get up and leave, because that probably takes about 20 minutes for them to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's quite disruptive if you're training, isn't it?
Leanne,
Yeah.
I was just going to say, what I send out for the designated safeguarding lead training, I can send you over that email because it's got the postcode for both Albert Street and West Brom car
Oh, nice.
park.
Yeah.
And it does say about saying, there's restricted parking for only 3 hours,
Oh, brilliant.
So I can send that over to you now. Obviously take out the rest of the stuff won't be relevant.
Yeah.
You can take that.
I can send you some stuff as well, because I send stuff out to foster carers, so I've kind of put stuff on
Lovely.
there about the pay by phone app and things like that, so you can
brilliant.
take some
it
stuff
sounds
out
like
of that.
that's even better. Oh, I'm going to
That's
add that
really
into
useful.
mine. Oh, how yeah, that's brilliant. Pay by phone.
It's not a big detail, just that they've got the option of using that if they want to kind of download it beforehand, and obviously, just makes life a bit easier, doesn't it?
No, that's really useful. Thank you. Is there anything, Louise? I know you use the council house as well, don't you? So is there anything different that you might do to mitigate
I have
some of those
exactly the same
things?
issues, Leanne, as
Right.
you well know. You've seen me
Yeah,
running
that's
up and
true.
down like a lunatic. But the good thing is, once you are in there, you have got access to the kitchen area. As you say, the toilets are right there. But then if you've only got one pass, it can be a little bit of an issue. But I just tend to base myself there. But I'm not normally delivering the training, not always anyway. So it's easier for me. But if you're delivering the training and you're running around, then it can get a bit tricky.
Yeah, okay. No worries. Food for thought, indeed. Do we have any concerns around like availability? Sorry, Lisa, you still got your hand up?
I was just going to say, just going back to the annex, just again bearing in mind, I had a real challenge with that one, so we need to think about. I'd booked the annex.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then they
a
kicked
few
you out,
weeks.
didn't they?
Yeah, and I think somebody from the trust had also booked it, but after me, but they kicked me out and said, actually, it's the trust, so they've got to have the space. So just something. And we have had a challenge before now, booking rooms, haven't we? And didn't we have a challenge with upstairs and they'd like kicked us off it and we hadn't been made aware or
Yeah, I
something
think
or other?
that's been sorted now. I think Debbie kind of did some talking to people in the background and she sorted that out, so that shouldn't happen again moving forward. But yeah, that did happen to us. Yeah. Jenny?
I don't know what whether you can, but the the aquatic centre opens in a couple of weeks. Does anyone know if I just randomly know if there might be meeting rooms there?
No
'Cause,
idea.
I mean, I know obviously there are at the Portway Centre, and I just wondered maybe
They're
if they
chargeable
might have...
again.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. So we're booking Portway for our event in September. And their rooms are chargeable. So
Right.
yeah, and I think it's more than Conagray because it's a bigger space. So if we're going to go back to chargeable spaces, go back to Conagray.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. I know it's a pain.
Yeah.
I mean, we have got access to the children's centre. Have kind of given us that access to some of their rooms as and when they're not booked. But again, they're the smaller rooms, so we could potentially hold GCP2 in those rooms, but we couldn't hold a big session like Thresholds or core working together there, because they only hold like 15 to 18 people. So yeah, we'll keep thinking, but I think it's working. It's just got its challenges. Have we got any concerns around availability from trainers at the moment? No, because I'm very aware that we're currently, as Lisa puts it, fishing from the same pool at the minute, because we've lost a few trainers. We've obviously had Jan retire. We've had a few people move on from Sandwell or doing kind of various different things. That means they can't commit as much to training pool. So just kind of wanted to check in with everybody, because I know very much we're fishing from that same smaller pool of people at the moment.
Leanne, is it
Yeah.
worthwhile doing another communication call out? So I know we have the slide at the end of training,
Yeah.
and some people will contact us as a result of that. But if people have like left a little bit early, or they're rushing to get out, especially if they're going to do a school run or something, they may not
Yeah.
take in that detail. So is it worthwhile? And I think perhaps September now, you know, people are new people in post, that sort of thing, and look at, and I know yesterday we raised it as an issue, and I think they missed the point, because they said, oh well, we're raising a bit of an income, we could pay trainers, external trainers, but then you lose that Sandwell quality and perspective. So I think it was just it's something that you know, certain things would be are better by paying and commissioning your expertise, but I think that the value and the feedback on training, when we've got frontline practitioners who people identify with, I would hate to lose that. So yeah, if we could do that as a call out, and then perhaps but a little bit more detail that goes with it or something. So on the email, so we've got the poster, but then on the email it can be anything to equipping you to become a lead trainer to deliver on something specific, or even if it's just and perhaps a bit of a context around that we always have two trainers, unless it's me and you, Leanne, and sometimes Louise and sometimes Lusa, you know. But you know, there's always two trainers, and there is a range of roles that person could take on, that, you know, building their skills around, because we need those people who help us facilitate, not necessarily impart it. So maybe if we did that, made that clear, we may get more of a commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was something we were talking about in the office yesterday after the meeting yesterday morning, was creating something to kind of send out to wider networks again to see if we get some interest. So yeah, absolutely, it's on my list and on my radar. So,
and I think also making people recognise how valued it is with it. So I've delivered training with Shamiz, like being a frontline practitioner. I delivered with another school DSL last week, and obviously especially because we get a lot of schools come on, that, you know, but then I've delivered with health professionals, and people have really, like, it's helped them gather an understanding of sort of the restrictions, and especially around confidentiality and things like that. So I just think if we can put something in about the value and why we want to draw across the partnership. I'll shut up now, that's it, I'm done.
No, that's fine. Kate, you've got your hand up as well.
Yeah, it was only to say, I'd be happy to support with core working together, but I've never done it, never delivered it before. So I'm happy to, like, whether I shadow or just be like a glamorous assistant or whatever, you know, I don't know. I've never done it before, so, but I am saying, you know, wouldn't feel confident to lead on it initially, but
no, that's great. Thank you, Kate.
So whether I can come and shadow one and then be a second person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We are currently reviewing the core working together, so you're more than welcome to come and shadow whenever you want to, but just be aware that it imminently will be changing. We're hoping it'll be ready. The new version will be ready from September to roll out.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you're more than welcome to come along whenever. Just let us know. Okay, Coke. And any frequently asked questions from delegates? So I think something that came up on some of the feedback that I was looking at when I was dip sampling was around having uncomfortable or challenging or difficult conversations, because we talk a lot about, and obviously it's very important that families are consenting to support. So when we've got concerns, we're talking to families and we're not just putting in referrals and then they get a phone call out of the blue. We're talking to them, we're explaining it to them, and we're getting consent to kind of put support in place. And obviously something that comes out of that is having challenging conversations. So on the back of that, I've created a guidance that's currently sitting at L&D for kind of comments for changes that might need to be made. And then again, that will be kind of filtered through to you guys as well. But are there any other frequently asked questions that we're getting around from delegates that we could kind of do something with or do something to support? Well, that's good then. Means that we're doing it all right. Okay, lovely. But just to put that on your radar, if you are kind of when you're delivering, if you are getting kind of something that's asked more than a few times, if you can clock it and note it, that'd be really useful, and then bring it back to these meetings. Or even if it's something you feel is more urgent, please drop me an email and we can kind of see if there's anything we can do to support that particular delegate or cohort or whatever it is that the concern or question is. Be fab. So our next item then is expanding and maintaining the training pool, which we've kind of already touched on. So Kate's kindly offered around core working together. We've talked about doing another kind of call to arms really, maybe in September. So we've got a little bit of time to develop and devise something and agree what that looks like. Is there any other thoughts around this in terms of how we can get more people supporting us moving forward? No. You're very quiet today. Okay, Koki.
I was going to say, Leanne, the
Go on,
only things
Lucy.
I can think of wouldn't help us budget wise. Because sometimes I think if you can offer people an incentive, like, I don't know, Amazon voucher, you know, something like that. If you join, you get this. But I know that's not going to, unless
Yeah.
we've still got that stash somewhere that we had for the partnership. But that's I know that wouldn't,
Yeah.
that would then lead to another problem. But, you know, just
Yeah.
sort of saying if, or I know like some of us obviously have the option to do the qualification. Again, I don't know if it's feasible, you know, just sort of saying to people, if you do this, we can tell them all the benefits and we know the benefits to them, but sometimes
Yeah.
having open bribery for people is also helpful. But then I
Yeah.
know that then leads to other things. So that's the only thing I could think is
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, one of the incentives that I do kind of sell is if you've got people within your organisation that you need to sneak on training, then you can, you know, you kind of get first refusal to kind of contact us and say, I know it's fully booked, but can we add this person to this training? Which for some people, I suppose, is enough of an incentive because it means their organisation is able to access stuff sooner. But yeah, no, I completely hear you in terms of incentivizing. One of the things that I've talked to Gillian about, and it is in the terms of reference, it just needs kind of creating and tweaking. And I think Lisa's maybe already got something we can use, is around a train the trainer. So although it's delivered internally, it's kind of upskilling people to feel more confident and comfortable around delivering training to adults. And then there is then that potential to look at, if we do get a big enough cohort again in the future, is that qualification something that we can run again another time if we've got another cohort of people on the training pool that have been with us for some time that will benefit from that.
Is there something around, and I suppose this is not just for about accreditation of some of our training, so it gives people towards their professional development, but if we've developed a train the trainer and we deliver it ourselves, could we attach to a college to have that accredited? What are the costs? Is that something worth exploring then? So if we do a train the trainer, it's almost like a level 1 or points, so it's a bit like we're doing our level 4, and certain things, you know, opted out or built up a little bit. You know, if you'd done certain courses, you didn't need to do certain modules. Sorry, Leanne, that's like me rubbing your nose in it, isn't it? But you finished yours now.
Yeah.
I know.
I haven't. I'm still mad.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And I haven't finished even though I've been up to it, I haven't had to do one of the modules. I'm still. But there's another story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Holly had started looking at something. So if I can find what
had.
Holly had started, then hopefully I've got a starting point then to build from. But yeah, that's definitely something that'd be quite interesting.
Let me have a look through, because Holly may have sent something through to me, and I'm pretty sure I'm sure it was Sandwell College
Okay.
that we was using as I'm not saying that they was going to accredit, we was using them as sector expert to look at how we do that.
Fab. I'll have a look, see what I can find. If you can have a look as well, then we can kind of see what we can pull together. We can pick that up and move it forward. Lovely. Kate?
Yeah, I just think and if that's a really good idea, I think that will be a really good incentive for people to have some sort of accreditation. But failing that, just having some sort of recognition at the end of the year, so like whether it's a certificate or something, just so that there's a bit of actual evidence for people, not evidence but recognition, but also something that they can, if they do move jobs or whatever, they've got that evidence that they've been a trainer within the training pool in somewhat, just something that's there for them.
Yeah.
Let's have a graduation ceremony for people every year. An award ceremony.
Yeah.
We could definitely think about like a bit of a get together. They do the coffee mornings and stuff, don't they, when people have done something positive. So this is a real kind of positive thing that people are doing, taking time out of their day. So I don't see why we can't look at some sort of get together and definitely think about certificates or something in terms of recognition. So you're right, if people do then move on, or they want to add to their portfolio of what they've done and what they do, then that'd be really useful. Thanks, Louise. No worries. Okay, Coke. So we've moved through this fairly swiftly. So if we've got nothing else on that, we're just on to any other business. So if I go around and see if anybody's got anything else they want to add, I'm going to start at the top of my screen again, Lucy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, please go with incentivise in the minutes, Debbie, not bribery, which is what I originally said. But yeah, apart from that, nothing.
Lovely, thank you. Lisa?
I just had a thought pop into my head, but then because Lucy made me smile, then it's just popped straight back out again. Oh, I can't think what I was going to say. Oh, and it might have been inspirational. Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
It probably
Can you
was.
come back to me? So
of course I
can.
Just have a second to think.
That.
Shamiz?
Sorry, I was fighting with my microphone then. I've taken a lot in. Obviously, I'm still sort of at the shadowing stage, and I'm going to be doing my sort of first session with Alison, so I've made contact with her. But I think it's really, really good about potentially getting some kind of accreditation and just to keep pumping it out there that it's a really, really valuable sort of tool. You can use it on your CPD. I'll certainly be pushing it at school. It's about people's levels of comfortability, if that's even a word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's excellent.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, Shamiz. Lisa, am I coming back to you?
Yeah, two things. The one about, I suppose this is like the incentivizing, training pool. So, for example, if we think at Shamiz, so it may be that there's a real call for a certain type of training within school, and it's got to be multi-agency. Whether we can look as part of the incentive that as long as they got some multi-agency partners from the that learning community, so I don't know, it might be some of the Strengthening Families team, they coordinated, they could perhaps draw on the one other person and say, can we go and deliver that because there's a need for it in our school? And
absolutely,
so to build on that. And then the other one is just a practical relay. We've recorded this session, but there are certain people who haven't been able to access this today, and I think it's really invaluable to have this, like I say, insight and what the issues are and what we've discussed and what we plan. So can this recording be shared with all the people on the training pool, and we could potentially do it via that thing, WeTransfer?
We can do. I think there's people that have issues accessing WeTransfer, so it might be easier if we, if Debbie downloads it and then we save it somewhere and chuck it into YouTube.
Yeah.
Because then it's just a YouTube link that we're sending out.
Yeah. However, but I just think it's just making sure that we are inclusive for those that haven't been able to access it, so they've got,
Yeah, of course.
you know, they can watch this at their leisure, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Fab. Thanks, Lisa. Where did I get to? Jenny.
Hello.
Hello.
The only thing I've just been mulling over is if we did say go ahead and have like this event where people recognition event, and people got certificates like saying, you know, this year you did so many, or you helped out with Cool Working Together, GCP2, whatever. You know, sometimes you get offers where if you're like, you have your electricity through Eon and you bring someone else along,
Right.
you get 50 quid off and they get 50 quid off or something.
Yeah.
If you encourage someone else to become a trainer, you get another certificate saying, and you're a superstar for getting some more trainers on board or something. Just a way of encouraging people to get someone from their organisation to become a trainer.
Yeah. I like that idea, like a refer a friend type idea. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll definitely look at that and send that through 100%. Yeah, like the refer a friend. Yeah. Although I don't think our budget will stretch to 500 quid, Lucy. Shamiz, you've got your hand up.
So maybe
Sorry,
a bar
Jenny.
of chocolates for referring a friend.
Yeah, I could probably manage a bar of chocolate. Shamiz, sorry, you got your hand up.
I don't know if this is the right sort of forum, but so I did the level 3 training initially when I started in Sandwell, because obviously different thresholds and so forth.
Yeah.
But and kick me out if you want to. But being an educational sort of representative, the training, the DSP training, was so beneficial. For educational representatives, because it was so streamlined, and I remember speaking to Lisa about it, and it's a shame that there isn't like a sort of free option for that.
That's something to talk to Lisa about.
I say, unfortunately, it's not on the multi-agency offer because it is specifically for schools. However, as Leanne said, come and have a chat to me, because obviously it's materials that I've produced, so we can have a chat and look at how you can perhaps utilise that to benefit your staff.
No, it's just I take my hat off to you. It was brilliant. I got so much from it. So
brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Where did I get to? Kate?
No,
No.
I haven't got anything.
Lovely. And Kimberly, I saw you pop up and join us a little while back.
Yeah, I've missed the whole meeting because I came in just before any other business. Sorry, I had another
All
meeting
right.
this morning, so I'll go back and I'll watch the recording and find out what's been said. But yeah, I've
Good
got no
plan.
any other business.
Good plan. Good plan. Looking forward to having you back as soon as you can
Yeah.
join us again.
Hopefully September times will be a lot quieter and I'm going to start getting back involved.
Excellent. No, that's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Okie dokie then. If there is nothing else, I will wrap us up and give us some time back today. Lovely. Thank you very much,
Brilliant.
everyone. It's
Thanks,
lovely to see
Leanne.
you all. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, nice to see you all. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.